Hi, welcome to the second edition of The Good Show. I'm Dan Michalko here at Beechcroft High School, joined by the Superintendent of Columbus City Schools, Dr. Dan Good. Hi, Dr. Good.
How are you?
Excellent. How are you doing tonight?
I'm well, thank you.
Excellent. And we're both joined by student ambassadors from all across the Columbus City Schools. We'll be talking to them in just a minute. In fact, talking specifically to two student ambassadors from right here at Beechcroft. But before we get to that, the concept of a student ambassador, what is that? Dr. Good, would you mind explaining what the Student Ambassador Program is all about?
Thank you. As you indicated, there are representatives from each of our 16 high schools with us. We met first in September for several hours, and we shared who we were and what we were proud of in Columbus City Schools. We also talked about issues and the need to get input from our community into the issues that face us each day. But we wanted to tell our story through the eyes of our peers. And so we determined that we would come up with a show that airs on a monthly basis to do just that.
Excellent. Well, I want to backtrack a little bit. You mentioned the word community in there. And there is a lot of talk about the relationship between communities and schools. Specifically, how do you feel about that relationship that those two entities have?
You know, research shows that high-performing schools have high levels of family engagement and in the community. In fact, I'll share some research with you. Okay. It emphasizes the needs of schools to engage the businesses and the social services, the community's colleges and universities, as well as their civic and neighborhood organizations. And doing that really contributes to promoting student excellence. So we've made that a priority. Over the last 4 months, we've been to well over 300 different organizations and associations and groups in our community, touching over 6,000 individuals, because we thought it was important to remember that we're a public service and we need to serve the public's needs and hear their voice. I think it's important to remember that public services exist for the well-being of the public and for the citizens within a community. And so it's important that we reach out and touch. And it reminds me of a Diana Ross song made popular back in 1970, reach out and touch somebody's hand. And AT&T later took that phrase and talked about reach out and touch somebody as a jingle for them to use their phone services. So that's what we're doing. We're reaching out and touching to embrace our community.
Excellent. Well, I'd like to get a specific example of how that's being done right here at Beechcroft by talking to our two student ambassadors about what they have done. But before we talk to them directly, let's get a little background on what it is that's been going on here at Beechcroft. Watch this.
Hi, my name is Daisha Whiteside. We're at Beechcroft High School. We're in our Rocks room. I'm here with Dr. Lisa Hinkleman and Ms. Lauren Hancock, and we're going to be talking about what Rocks is and how it's been affecting Beechcroft here.
It is a program for girls, and so last year was the first year, and you were one of the first girls at Beechcroft to go through Rocks. And Rocks focuses on all of the issues that are kind of impacting girls during their adolescence and high school. So Rocks focuses on confidence in girls and self-esteem. We talk about body image and safety and sexual violence prevention. We teach girls physical self-defense and talk about how girls can be good to each other and teaching girls how to effectively communicate with each other.
Rocks got started in 2006. I was a professor in counseling at Ohio State University, and Rocks actually began as one of my research projects. So I was doing a lot of work with girls and realizing that they were experiencing a drop in confidence and a lot of conflict during middle school and high school. And they weren't getting along well with each other. There was a lot of girl bullying happening. And I realized that we need to give something positive and proactive and powerful for girls so that they have an opportunity to learn new skills, to engage with other girls differently, and to experience themselves as strong and confident and powerful. And so Rocks began that first year. We were in 3 schools in Columbus City, and we tested girls. What was happening before and after? How were they changing by participating in Rocks? And what we learned is that girls were becoming more confident. They had higher self-esteem. They were doing less girl bullying, less relational aggression kinds of things, and they were feeling more connected to school and to each other. And so what we realized is that we were making a big difference in the lives of girls, and we wanted to grow that. So the second year we were in 8 schools, and then 13, and then as Lauren said, we started to expand outside of Central Ohio. And so Rocks is now across the state in PA. As she said, we'll be in Kentucky. And so what we see our future as, let's give girls the opportunity to have a space that's all girls, where they can be strong, where they can be confident, and that's a good thing.
Rocks has made me a stronger young lady. I'm more comfortable with myself and
I know that I can be better in the future. Like, I don't have to follow the stereotypes of being a girl. And just knowing that I have girls that go through the same stuff as me, it makes me a better person.
And before Rocks, I was very aggressive person by the way I acted towards people. And being in it made me realize that it's not a good way to be. So I tried to meet more in the middle and treat people how they should be instead of how I feel they should be.
So I feel Rocks has made me a stronger, more confident person in who I am now. I don't have to be what everybody expects me to be. I can be myself, and especially where I come from, my tradition, like I'm the first young woman who is like going to college, and I have really changed a lot in my family how people view us. It has inspired me to be a greater person. I have lots of opportunities, and I could really be a great person.
I'm here with Allie Roten. She's our counselor at Beechcroft High School. She also coordinates everything that goes on with Rocks here, and I love her so much. And she's going to tell us how Rocks has impacted Beechcroft as far as all the girls here.
I think the thing that I really was impressed about was when I was given the opportunity to take you all around the community and share Rocks with other women, powerful women in our community, just so that they knew what was going on and that they could help our program continue to grow. So, you know, you all had the opportunity to talk to individuals, to share the lessons and the information that you were learning, and it was just such a proud moment for me to watch each of you just glow and be confident and just be Rocks girls.
Hi, I'm here with Darius Ford, and Darius is one of our student ambassadors for Beechcroft High School. Darius, what do you like about Beechcroft?
I like the atmosphere. I remember my 8th grade year, I went to a football game, and I just loved it. I knew I wanted to be a part of a Cougar. I love that our teachers and administrators have our backs, that they want us to be the best that we can be.
So what is the Good Seed Garden?
The Good Seed Garden is a community garden at the Church of Good Shepherd across the street. We started our freshman year. We started the layout. It's basically a garden that the church wanted, like they had free land that they didn't know what to do with, so they contacted Miss Washington so that we can build a garden over there.
Okay, we're gonna go to the Good Seed Garden right now. We're gonna take a trip outside to go check it out.
Now I'm interviewing Miss Washington about our partnership with the Church of the Good Shepherd. Hi, how did this community garden first happen?
6 years ago, we got a phone call from the Church of the Good Shepherd, and they asked for help in building their first garden. And the very first year, we actually planted a sunflower garden. The second year, we got another phone call from the church stating that they had received a grant from the City of Columbus and that they needed assistance in building the first wheelchair-accessible community flower and vegetable garden in the Sharon Woods area.
Well, can you tell me what plants do you actually have in the garden?
Well, this is the first year where my students have actually grown plants. And this year we grew kale, cabbage, lettuce, and we actually planted some garlic. And those are all fall crops. As you can see, it's a chilly November day. And so we needed something that would make it until November when we could actually get around to harvesting.
What do you do with the produce that you grow?
Well, this year, usually what happens, most of the community members who purchase plots for the summer actually agree to donate a certain portion of their produce to a food pantry that the church is partnered with. This is our actual first year in growing crops, and so this year we're going to allow the students to do a little taste testing with the produce that they actually made. So it's an opportunity for kids to not necessarily do traditional paper and pencil, but to actually learn the paper and pencil and then come over here and actually get to see some of that they've learned about. So it's a great project.
I'm here with Daisha Whiteside and with Darius Ford from Beechcroft. Tell us what makes Beechcroft a special place.
I think what makes Beechcroft a special place is the atmosphere at Beechcroft. We really thrive off our motto, peace, pride, progress, and I feel like we take a lot of pride in what we do in our school as far as our schoolwork, especially our sports, all our after-school activities. Me personally, I've taken a lot of pride in what I've done just off of being at Beechcroft. We have a lot of positive energy here, and I feel like that comes from our teachers, our students, everybody who comes and helps out, our coaches. I just love our school.
Outstanding. Darius?
Yeah, just to piggyback off what she said, the atmosphere really influences us. It contributes to all our success, and I think that's just what makes Beechcroft a special place.
And so it is a community of learners, and that's part of the atmosphere, is the establishment of that community. And I love that the stories that you shared with us talk about how we build that, both within the school and outside of the school. So thanks to you, Daisha, and thanks to you, Darius, for sharing that.
Up next, we're going to meet Hannah Wexner. She's a student at Columbus Academy who has taken the concept of community all the way to Africa. Check this out.
We've got a shortage of doctors. Most of the time when we go to UTH, most of the time we are told there are no medicine.
The availability of staff, like skilled staff members, and also the availability of basic, like diagnostic equipment.
There are so many obstacles which they face, but the largest is the staffing. There are no levels of staff. There are very few nurses, very few doctors. Some of the clinics don't even have a doctor on call.
Yes, because there are some situations that you find babies dying in the queue, waiting to be seen by the doctor. Yes.
Over 50 patients in one ward. Maybe we just have 2 nurses on duty. That is if you're lucky. Sometimes we even have 1.
Patient care is affected. The doctors are not getting their diagnosis right because they don't have the help they would or normally have from like a Western laboratory. So, yeah.
Every day, I think we see like Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, we see between 300 to 400 patients.
Per day or over that time? Each day, 300 to 400? Each day? Wow. So you've literally only got a few minutes with each patient?
Yeah, we spend a few minutes because it's infectious and you don't have to spend a lot of time with them. We make sure we attend to them as quickly as possible.
If they can be strengthened with laboratory equipment where they are going to be able to do at least all the basic tests, sputum, malaria, HIV, yes, in all the satellite clinics, it would help much in controlling.
So I'd like you to meet Hannah Wexner. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
It was an impressive video. Tell us about your trip to Africa.
Thank you so much. It was a really exciting time. I kind of went with the goal of making a video because I had such an amazing opportunity to be there. So luckily I was filming everything I saw and asking people a lot of questions that I normally wouldn't have probably had the courage to pull people aside and ask them things. So I was very touched by everything I saw. And when I came home, I wanted to show my video and hopefully raise some money to send back. But I then started looking for a kind of more sustainable idea that could benefit our community as well. So I started Kids Here and There to benefit both their community and our community.
Well, tell us about Kids Here and There.
Okay, so what we do is we've gone around to corporations, foundations, and a few individual sponsors, and we've asked them to sponsor volunteer hours, so within the Central Ohio community. So for every hour that a student in Central Ohio does volunteering at any place that will help children or their family here, $10 are sent to the hospital in Zambia. So it's a leveraged model. It's worked really well, and corporations seem to be excited about it. It's really, really exciting.
And $10 in Zambia probably means a lot more than $10 in the United States.
Yeah, absolutely. Our first goal is to get a lot more nurses in the neonatal unit, which is what you saw in the video. And those nurses are only paid from about $5,000 to $7,000 a year, just to give you an idea of the difference between here in America and there.
Very good. Hannah, it's such a pleasure to have you here, but certainly I would like to hear what the student ambassadors want to know about your program or about your experience in Africa. So why don't we just move, both of us turn a little bit and tell us your name, your school, and ask your question.
I'm Rashida Brandon from Marion Franklin High School. And how did you get the opportunity to go visit Africa?
Right, so I had a teacher from my school who has a brother that is a cleft palate surgeon that was going to take a trip to Niger over the summer. And the teacher had asked me and a few other students if we'd like to come along because he knew that I'd always been interested in medicine. And I kind of came home and I was like all excited and I was like, Mom, I want to go to Niger. And she kind of like laughed at me and was like, you're not going to Niger. Because I think it's pretty dangerous there right now. And then it just so happened that we had a family friend who had somehow been connected to one of the doctors that was in the video. And we sent him a few emails back and forth, and then he offered me to come down and follow him around for a few weeks.
So you had a very global community you could enlist to support your visit.
Yeah.
So again, back to the theme of community and how important that networking is. Your name, your school, and your question.
Yeah, my name is Nathan Harris, and I go to Northland High School. My question is, do you plan on going back?
Oh, most definitely. I would like to go back as soon as I can.
So what difference do you plan to do when you go back?
Okay, so what we've done so far is we've taken on a project that's called Chance. And this is raising $200,000, which means 20,000 volunteer hours that we need so we can release those funds. And that will all go to the neonatal unit. They will hire a bunch of additional nurses. If you saw in the video, the current ratio, it can be anywhere from 1 to 30 to 1 to 90 nurses to babies, depending on what time of day. So we're hoping to cut that in half for all of the time by adding at least 1 or 2 additional shifts for each part of the day, as well as supplying food and other baby monitors. If you saw in the video, there are a lot of times when they have like multiple babies in the incubators, so they can only monitor one at once. So more things like that. And hopefully they'll kind of track the mortality, time spent in the hospital, and rate of infection. And we'll see if we can bring that down.
Very good. How about you? Your name, school, and question?
Hi, I'm Jocelyn James from Columbus North International School. I just have a quick question about your experience there. Like, how would you describe the community there rather than here? Was it a lot different? Was it not too much different?
I think it was super different. I think that we faced different challenges, and it was definitely very jarring, and it was hard to see and hard to kind of comprehend, and then come back here and kind of like go on living like you hadn't experienced it or you hadn't seen that there is so much of a gap. But I think that the thing that's the same is that there is need. We have a ton of need here. You know, we have kids who don't have food, shelter, access to education or health care, and it's the same thing. So hopefully we can address both of those problems, and you know, even if we're not making a huge difference, it's a little bit, and if it's a little bit here and a little bit there, that's just extra good.
So we've heard the term before, glocal, and this truly epitomizes glocal activity or a glocal community, because what we're doing locally is impacting the world in another place or another place in the world. So thank you so much for being here, Hannah.
Thank you so much for having me.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely fascinating, Hannah. From your curiosity bringing you there to your heart being open enough to see the need, absolutely amazing. Thanks.
Thank you.
Back here in the U.S., Whetstone High School had the very first marching band invitational tournament for the Columbus City School District. You're not a bandy? You didn't get to go there? Not a problem. Our cameras were there, and we've got highlights for you right now.
Welcome to the 2013 Columbus City Schools Marching Band Invitational, hosted this year at Whetstone High School.
Today we're having the Battle of the Bands with the bands and the drill teams from Columbus City Schools.
I began working on this program that would first start with our instrumental students and help them have some outlet, some final end product for their year that would show what they've learned throughout the year. And as a team, as their band works as a team, it would show what they've accomplished throughout the year.
What did it mean to be in this show today?
Oh, it was a great performance. It was a great opportunity, very smart event, to represent the city.
Would you call it a capstone of your experience in Columbus City Schools your senior year?
Oh yeah, it's definitely one of those. It's definitely one of those. How was your part watching all of our bands?
I'm overwhelmed with emotion, obviously, to see all of our very talented students perform for the benefit of this community, and it doesn't get any better than this.
I remember him when I started doing 4th grade and violin, and he had these big wide eyes and big bright smile, and every day he'd come and yes sir, Mr. Carlson, and okay, and then he'd come down during lunch and I'd help him out, and he's just always excited, passionate about music, and look at him now. I'm so proud of you, buddy. And you got great things in store for you in the future. Keep it up.
Thank you, thank you. So we see the friend?
Is this a class in your school?
Yes, it's first period, and we meet at 7 o'clock every morning.
So the instruments that are going by right now, the sousaphones, that was my instrument.
Oh, really?
Yes, and I went to the Ohio State University, and my row was K row, and then I was K5. So I went to the Rose Bowl my freshman year. So yes, sir.
You might not recognize him without the tall hat, but joining us today, student ambassador and also drum major of Northland High School, Nathan Harris. Welcome.
Nice to be here.
Good. What did you think about the Marching Band Invitational?
It was one of the best events to recap the 4 years I've been in marching band at Northland High School.
That's quite a statement.
Oh, yes, it is.
So you had to be proud of your peers.
Yes, all of the bands that did come perform, the bands that came and watched, they did a fantastic job, and they put on great shows, had a lot of nice creativity and uniqueness in each performance.
There really was. It was a great day, a sellout crowd, and it was our first Marching Band Invitational in quite a number of years. And helping to produce that video that you hosted was a Columbus City Schools teacher, Trudy Giassi, who's here with us as well. Welcome.
Well, thank you. No, I really enjoyed working with the kids and kind of being that facilitator like I am in the classroom, helping them, learn how to interview or, putting some things together in the editing room or filming. It was a lot of fun, and to see their growth as well.
Very good. Well, we've heard some ways that our students are making a difference in their communities, but of course there are more ways that are happening in all of the schools that are represented today. So we're going to take a moment and hear from students from each of our schools and ways that they're engaged with their community and what they're proud of that they would like to share with the viewers.
Hi, I'm Jordan A. Adams, and I go to Fort Hays Metropolitan Center. And to help with the community, I help children in it's like a thing that my Spanish teacher set up was for. We help kids that can speak Spanish but can't write it, or they don't have a lot of time to do it because at school they are taught English and not Spanish. So I am starting that with Miss Apple at Fort Hays.
Very good.
My name is Chris Hearn, and I also go to Fort Hays High School. Another thing that we do, of course, I'm sure people know that Fort Hays is known for its arts, performing visual arts. And something that we did recently, I believe last Tuesday actually, was held a type of benefit showcase where we had different performers. We had musical performers, we had actors perform monologues. I performed a few songs of my own to raise money in order to help our career centers. And I'm also a part of our National Honor Society at my school. I'm the vice president, and we're looking to coordinate events. So we'll be doing another event, hopefully, fingers crossed. We're trying to coordinate another event where we have an arts and performance showcase that will raise money to go to children and people who need outerwear, food, and some children who may not get gifts otherwise for the holidays. So those are some of the things that we do.
I'm Jocelyn James from Columbus North International School. We've been participating on a more type of global scale. We have officially partnered with Marymount Academy in Canada. So we had last year, we had an exchanging of plaques. So they have Columbus City Schools plaque, and we have theirs. That way we can learn to share cultures and ideas throughout the country. That way we can hopefully expand to other countries too.
Hello, my name is Kaiwan Whiting. I also go to Columbus North International School. And another thing that we do participate in is also global around the community. We host a community day at our school, and it's held every year, and it is on a Saturday. I don't know what month, what exact month, but I know we do host it.
I'm Roberta Gregory Davis. I go to Eastmore Academy. At our school, we have a volunteer service coordinator, and he created the impact team, and we do a lot of different community service activities throughout the year. And one of the continuous activities we do is we go serve at Faith Mission, and we cook and go.
So we've heard ways that our students in each of our schools are making a difference, both locally and globally, and we've learned about a new opportunity available to us as well from our guest today, Hannah Wexner. Hannah, Dan?
I think that about wraps it up. I mean, a lot of really great news today about the Columbus schools, and I love what everybody's doing for community in the district.
Indeed.
It's fabulous. That does wrap up today's show, but please join us again. We will be back at another high school, and our topic will be the path to college. In the meantime, you can watch this program over and over again. It's on at noon every single day, or you can watch it anytime at the Columbus City Schools website, so check that out. I'm Dan Michalko. Thanks again for joining us.